Okay, so we're totally recording now. Hello, it's me, Kyra again. This is my dear friend Colleen. So before we get started on doing role play, I have to say I really appreciate Colleen because she was my intern when she was a senior in high school, and now she has her MSW.
Totally Kyra's fault.
Yeah, 100%. So I have guilted her into doing this. So we're going to go ahead and get started with our video intervention. Colleen, my name's Kyra.
Nice to meet you.
It's lovely to meet you as well. So, Dr. Cullen asked me to step in to speak with you. Are you familiar with behavioral health?
Kind of.
Okay, so I'm just going to try to work to fill in some gaps. So, the goal of behavioral health is to take something that could be a medical problem and try to find some lifestyle interventions.
Okay.
And Doc Cullen told me that you're having a heck of a time with your sleeping.
Yeah, I'm having a hard time sleeping.
So, tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's been consistent for a while now, and nighttime is kind of just a time I dread because it's so hard to sleep, and when I get sleep, it doesn't really feel like quality sleep.
Oh, bummer. Okay.
Yeah.
So, do you have a hard time like clicking your brain off so that you can conk out?
Yeah, that's a big part of it is getting my brain to turn off.
Okay. So, how long does it take you to click it off, so to speak?
It depends on the night. On days that I can exercise, it's a little bit easier. But on days that there's not time for that, sometimes it can take hours.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
So, what do you do during those hours? Are you just staring at your ceiling?
I try and listen to everything that you say and put your phone away, like put screens away. But
okay, good.
After an hour or two, it's I typically pick up my phone at that point, and
yeah,
I know that's a problem. But when you're just laying there for 2 hours,
oh, I bet that would be really frustrating.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, tell me, when I was looking at your chart, I noticed that sleep was a problem, but that you are also a bit of a caffeine junkie. Maybe?
Yes, I can admit to that.
So tell me about your caffeine consumption.
I pretty consistently consume caffeine in mass quantities.
Okay.
Probably anywhere from like 4 to 5 cups of coffee a day.
Okay.
But not sleeping at night, that's the way I survive the day and the long hours of the day.
You bet. So it's like a feedback loop.
Yeah.
Like you can't sleep, you drink more coffee, you drink more coffee, you can't sleep.
Yeah. Exactly.
You know, and I noticed when I was sitting here that you even have caffeinated energy bars.
Yeah. I thought maybe those could supplement a cup of coffee every day.
How's that working?
Typically I wash them down with another cup of coffee.
Oh, so it's like a doubler.
Yeah.
Okay.
Double shot of espresso on that one.
Excellent. So your caffeine consumption's pretty high, and you said that you have a pretty stressful job. Can you tell me a little bit about work, what it is that you do?
Yeah, I work 5 days a week in pretty long hours, working with people, which I love people and I love working with people, but sometimes people are stressful.
Yes,
and
that's fair.
I work with kids specifically, and chasing after kids all day is a lot.
It is a lot.
Yeah, they have a lot more energy than I do.
Yeah, and they probably get better sleep too.
True.
Yeah. And I just from knowing you in the community, I know that you work with children who are coping with trauma.
Correct.
So
yes.
I'm assuming that's like a 1-2 punch then of exhaustion.
Yeah, it is. Just interacting with them on that level, you never know where they're going to be when they walk in, and so some days are really good and really fun, and some days are I just watch them tear my office apart. And it's the way it is, and then I drink another cup of coffee.
That seems fair.
Yeah.
I really understand that. So tell me when your first cup of coffee is and your last cup of coffee.
I say I wake up in the morning and go straight to coffee. Get out of bed and kind of head straight to the kitchen. My last cup of coffee probably varies day to day, depending on if I'm working late that day. If I'm scheduled to work late that day or something comes up where I'm working late, I can probably convince myself to drink a cup of coffee at 5 p.m.
Okay.
I'd say most days my coffee consumption ends by 3.
That's excellent. I was really worried you would say, and then it's 8:30 at night and I'm having a cup of coffee.
Not most days.
Some days?
Some days. Days that I have meetings that maybe start at 6 p.m. I'm probably going to sit and drink a cup of coffee throughout that meeting.
I understand that. That's really hard.
Yeah.
Especially, I think, now where everything's Zoom-based and it's exhausting.
Yes.
Okay. So what would it be like to say 5 of 7 days, so work week, no more coffee after 3?
In my head, I want to get defensive and say that my schedule is so unpredictable that I can't just commit to stopping at 3, but also I know that something probably needs to change. I think that would probably benefit me.
So what if we change it from 5 of 7 days to 3 of 7 days?
That sounds like something that I could commit to more.
Awesome. Yeah?
Yeah.
You look a little hesitant.
Yeah, I think I could do 3 of 7 days.
3 of 7?
Yes.
Okay. So, and I also have, we're going to look at my screen right here. So I have the Sanford Sleepiness Scale. So it's a Likert scale, 1 to 7 with X being conked out.
Okay.
So on an average day, by mid-afternoon, where are you on the scale?
Sometimes this depends if I eat greasy food from Halibut House.
Oh, the butt hut's so good.
Yep. By like what time? Just mid-afternoon?
Mm-hmm. By like 2, 3 o'clock.
I would say anywhere between a 4 and a 6. But a 4 is like a good day.
Got it. So by mid-afternoon, you're like...
I'm tired.
You're done.
Yeah. Which makes the rest of the day really unproductive.
Oh gosh, I bet.
Which is where I'm like, another cup of coffee and I can finish this.
I can push through.
Whatever.
Totally. When was last time you can remember having a good night's sleep? I won't even say full, just a good night's sleep.
Actually, I think about this often because I don't know if I can remember. I think, so I got a new puppy recently.
Oh.
And so that has really also, added to the maybe not sleeping so much. But I think that...
Puppies are like babies, man.
Yeah, I don't need a baby.
No.
Puppy's enough.
Yeah. She's a really cute puppy.
Oh, she's so cute. I think the last time I remember having, like, waking up and realizing that I slept.
Yeah.
So a lot of times I wake up and I'm like, did I actually just sleep at all? Was on a weekend night where I was active throughout the day and not home, so not drinking coffee.
Yeah.
And I spent that night away from the puppy.
Oh, I gotcha.
But that was probably a month ago, and before that, taking puppy out of the equation, I truly could not even guess.
Man, so this has been going on for a long time.
Yeah.
What are some of the things that you've modified in your life to try to deal with this?
I try really hard to implement exercise, specifically at the back end of the day.
Yeah.
Because it's nice to get up and exercise, but I'm, one, bad at mornings without coffee.
Sure.
And doing it at the front part of the day, the afternoon slump is even harder for me.
I bet.
So doing it at the back end, it's when I talk myself out of like, no, you're not too tired to do this. That helps, but also making time for that is not always a priority.
I would assume not, because you're tired.
Yeah. It's super easy to talk myself out of it.
And I know from looking at your chart that you have a partner.
I do, yes.
So is that person supportive? Are they able to kind of kick your booty in gear a little bit?
Yeah, a lot of times he's really willing to do that with me, but his work schedule is just as, it looks different than mine, but it's just as kind of hectic, and there are days that he is on call, and so he can't always like run 2 miles from home or whatever.
Oh, of course, because he would have to get back to the boat if there's an emergency.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
Has a response time. So
Coast Guard.
He is super supportive in that, but also it's really appealing to come home from work and sit down and cook dinner with him and not prioritize like going on a run or going to the gym when we're not in the middle of COVID and the gym is open.
Yes.
But for the most part, he is supportive. Like, he encourages me to do that and to take care of myself in that way. But
good.
he also cooks dinner, and then we play with the puppy. And then by 8 o'clock, I'm not doing anything physical.
It sounds really peaceful, though.
Sometimes.
So I know that you mentioned that you try really hard not to look at your computer screen or your phone before bed. What else have you put into place?
Not a whole lot. Truly, I try and put screens away early so that I can try and like go to sleep at a decent hour.
Yeah.
But really, I don't have like a strict routine going to bed.
Okay. I have a couple of suggestions for you.
Okay.
I know that we've already hit on caffeine, but I'm pulling up my my phone. Have you heard of Sleep Stories?
No.
Okay, so Sleep Stories are really great. You can download them. You can
Ooh.
choose voices. I really appreciate, there's a man, his name is James. He speaks with a really great English accent.
Oh, yes.
Yes. But the whole point of Sleep Stories is they don't make a lot of sense and they make you really tired.
I like that.
So maybe that would be something that you would be up for downloading and giving a shot.
Yeah, that sounds cool.
Like it's you can't
turn
lose,
it
you
on.
can't. Yeah.
Kind of just lay there and yeah. I think something like that would be beneficial for me because I don't do well. I think my issue is I like background noise going to sleep.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, because when I sit there in the dark, like by myself, every noise, I'm like, what was that? What was that? Oh my gosh, I'm alone. Was that the door? So I think that some background noise to listen to that and not be thinking like, oh my gosh, was that the door to my apartment? Is somebody breaking in? I don't know. Would be super good. And it's not like a YouTube video that I'm trying to pay attention to.
Yes, the whole point is not to pay attention to it.
Okay.
For it to be background noise. And he talks about like walking through the forest and seeing things. And it's just so soothing that you punk.
Yeah.
It's worth a shot.
I agree.
So, and I know that this is not a concern other places, but we live in Alaska, which means you know where I'm going on this, right? We're in the next month we're gonna have like 24 hours of sunshine.
It's super bright out.
3 a.m. it feels like noon.
I go to bed in daylight. We all do.
Which I'm assuming cannot help this situation.
No.
So what are some tools that you use?
I think that one growing up here has given me maybe a leg up on that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Than other people that I've had to come and have to adapt as adults.
Yes.
Because it's super weird that it's bright out at 11 o'clock. I have considered like drilling holes into my wall to hang curtains, but I live in a rental apartment.
Okay.
But I don't know how much that impacts me. Because for the most part, I acknowledge it. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's still bright out. How strange. But that feeling is almost, oh my gosh, it's so bright out. We're like, summer's coming.
Yeah,
and it's almost this like nice realization. But I also sleep like buried.
Oh, sure.
So I think that for the most part that I don't ever flop around in bed and think like, oh my gosh, it's so bright out.
Like it's
I just want the sun to set. But yeah, that is I haven't thought about that really.
I think you're right when you say that people who were born and raised here don't struggle with this. Like, my husband, born and raised, not a problem.
Yeah.
My son, not a problem.
Issue. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, good. Congrats on, growing up here and
growing
not
up
being
in
a
Alaska,
problem.
not getting eaten by a bear, being able to sleep with daylight. It's fine.
Right? I mean, hey, there are benefits. So we have a couple of things in place for you.
Yes.
No caffeine after 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
3 out of 7 days.
Yeah.
How are you planning on keeping track of that? Hash notes or?
I think that's gonna have to be something that I have to like physically write down.
Okay.
I live out of a planner.
Awesome. Great.
So, yeah, maybe I get to like highlight that day.
I think that'd be a good one.
Like a fun colored highlighter.
Ooh.
So
that would be a really good
color
idea.
to my life.
Right? Like, hey, and I'm doing something healthy on this one.
Yeah.
And are you up for giving sleep stories a try?
Yeah, definitely.
I think that would really help.
Yes.
So we only have a few more minutes together, but is it okay in about 2 weeks if I give you a phone call and follow up?
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Awesome.
I'll tell you about my sleep stories, but hopefully I don't remember them.
Right? Hopefully you can just say that guy with the voice and then I was asleep.
I don't know, that one guy. Was it James?
James.
James and I are going to be friends.
Yep. Okay, well, awesome. Thank you for your time, Colleen. Do you have any other questions for me?
I don't think so, but it'll be good to talk in a couple weeks.
Okay.
And just see how things are going.
Awesome.
My coffee intake.
Sleeping. Okay.
Sleeping.
Thanks, Colleen. All right, so I'm going to turn this way. I'm going to hit stop.